Well, hello again. Cheryl here, the No Sugar Coach. Today is day 17 of my carnivore experiment. My weight is the same. Well, actually, I was down 0.2 pounds, but I don't think that counts. And my blood sugar has remained the same, and I'm feeling great. And as I've mentioned over the past few days, I have great energy. One noticeable change just in the past few days is a great improvement to my sleep. I've never had trouble falling asleep, but for the past few years, I've been, waking up throughout the night, and I'm happy to report that that has stopped. So I'm getting really good sleep. Okay, so enough about that. Let's talk about the cost of following an all-meat diet. It's one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, and that is, isn't it expensive to eat meat every day? Isn't it expensive to just, have steak all the time? Well, I don't eat steak all the time, and that would be a very expensive way of following a carnivore diet, and I can't do that. And anyway, the carnivore diet that I'm following, it includes all meats, every cut of beef, lamb, venison, pork, chicken, turkey, duck, fish, seafood, shellfish too. And I eat eggs, lots of eggs, and I have butter and fat drippings as well. Now, the most economical way of following a carnivore diet involves shopping wisely and planning your meals. Now, ground beef is one of my favorite meats. It's pretty versatile because, if you make patties out of it, or you make a meatloaf out of it, or you make meatballs, somehow the fact that the meat has changed shape seems to influence how it tastes. Don't ask me why. I know that, just pan frying it loosely tastes really good right out of the pan. Yeah, so for me, ground beef is my most cost-effective beef option. I love a good steak, but ground beef is still my favorite. Eggs are an excellent source of nutrients and an inexpensive addition to the carnivore diet. You can serve them in so many ways. It's just like I said about the ground beef, how you prepare your eggs seems to influence the flavor. If you're poaching them or scrambling them or making an omelet or just pan frying them. It just seems to influence the flavor. I don't know how that works, but I love to try my eggs every which way. Another good place to save money is by buying organ meats. Now, I know not everybody likes the taste of, kidneys and gizzards and stuff like that, but they are often very affordable, especially the beef liver. Even chicken livers, if you've never had chicken livers, they have a much milder flavor. And pan fried in butter, they're quite delicious. Canned fish like sardines and mackerel, they're great. I mean, they provide an affordable way of getting your omega-3 fatty acids, and typically one or two cans makes a substantial serving. The other thing that I do is I keep an eye on sales, like at my local grocery store. If I see a good deal on certain meats, I just stock up and freeze portions for future meals. If you have a local farmer or a rancher and you have freezer space, and a really good way to save money is to buy like a side or a quarter of beef. That usually can provide some substantial savings, especially, because you'll get some of the more expensive cuts along with the cheaper cuts. The other thing that you can do is consider some less popular or bone-in cuts, which are often way cheaper, but still just as nutritious. It just means like learning how to cook these tough or unusual cuts. Sometimes it's just a matter of slow cooking to render a tough cut so that it melts in your mouth. I've invested in a beautiful book. I should have brought it with me, but it talks about the various cuts of meat and how best to prepare them. So if I come across something at the grocery store and I don't know what that cut is, I know that I have a resource at home that I can read up what this cut is and the best way to prepare it. So that's another way of saving money. Instead of using butter in your cooking, you can always use the fat drippings from your bacon or use beef tallow, which is also very inexpensive. So the idea is to be creative. Like if you implement any of these strategies, it's possible to follow a carnivore diet that's very affordable. And the other thing too, like for me in the last 17 days of following this carnivore diet, I have not thrown out any food at all. There are no veggies or fruit dying a slow death in my fridge. And there's been absolutely zero food waste, which is amazing. The other thing too is if if you go on a carnivore diet and perhaps some of your family members follow along or reduce the amount of veggies and fruit that they eat, and if you stop buying junk food, you're not wasting your money on, eating things that provide absolutely no nutrition. So I consider that very expensive. If you eat junk food, that's expensive because you're not getting any nutritional value whatsoever. Anyhow, so if you're following a carnivore diet, I would love to hear if you have any frugal carnivore diet tips that you could share with us. I'd love to hear from you. Well, that's it for me today. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Eat well, be kind to yourself, and keep a smile on your face. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.